Thanks so much for coming to my pre-recorded video for the session on Generative AI meets hospitality. What to do now to stay ahead, a very practical guide. My name's John Duffield. I could not be there in person, unfortunately, so the great folks at Emerald Events allowed me to record this in advance for you. Hope you're having a great event so far. This one is going to be a session you're not going to want to miss because I have a feeling many of you, some of you, may well be behind in your exploration and use of generative AI. I'm going to help you determine what you can do about it with some practical examples, some real-world statistics, and some downloadable guides. Now, after this session, my goal is that you'll feel more comfortable with AI and the advantages that it brings. You'll kind of be aware of more of the opportunities in the hospitality design space specifically. You'll consider the impact, maybe relook at your role and your business and the opportunities it brings, and hopefully motivate you to determine a long-term strategy for how you can be as successful as possible. I hope you can stick around for the whole of this 28 minutes left. I really do, because I got a present for you. I got a gift. All of the insights, the recommendations, the prompts I use, information on classes, my best tips for courses, my best reading articles to get started. You can download all of these at the end of this session. So I hope you can stick around. If you can't, swipe this QR code now, this to my LinkedIn, and drop me a comment if you can't stick around. I got a feeling you'll want to, because there's a lot of interesting things here that you may not have considered otherwise. Okay, just a very little bit about me before we move forward. My name's John Duffield from Signal 2. And I have the privilege of helping guide large enterprise all the way through to small startups through understanding what artificial intelligence is, why it's different, how part of it is not new, and how you can use it to experiment, to change the way you do things in your personal life, in your leisure time, to transform how you do what you do at work, with your colleagues, with your partners, with the goals of your organization. I have the privilege of working with Hilton's executive team on understanding the benefits of AI, working with art consultancies, working with hospitality management companies, as well as the healthcare sector. And my goal really is to bring all that learning to you in a condensed session and hopefully give you the chance to ask more questions in the not too distant future. So, what to do to stay ahead? We're going to cover 3 key areas in the next 26 minutes. How to educate yourself, how to get more comfortable, how to read into things, how to look at upskilling opportunities for you and your teams. Number 2, playing and experimenting. We're well beyond the hype. The hype is still there, but now it's about traction. It's about use cases. It's about what this can help your customers do, what this can help your colleagues do, how it can augment and amplify the work you're already doing, where you should be playing, how you should be leaning into your new thought partner. And then most importantly, the real traction where the rubber meets the road, adapting AI to your workflows, matching how you work to ensure that your behaviors can be even extended even more and your outputs can be amplified using AI. That's where we're going to lean into. The first one, how do we look at educating yourself? What are my best go-to sources for reading and courses? This is what I'm going to chat to you about in a quick moment. But first, some big quotes from some big people behind a lot of the leading platforms. There's a reason why we're all paying attention to generative AI, because Bill Gates said it will change the way we learn, play, travel, get healthcare, and communicate with each other. Sundar Pichai said it's the most profound technology humanity is working on. This is Google's CEO. More profound than fire, electricity, or anything we've done in the past. Wow. And this is Dario Amodei. He's the CEO of Anthropic. He was inside the walls of Parliament, and he told everybody that the biggest thing to keep in mind is how fast this is actually moving. So you're in the right place if you're paying attention now. Accenture has said that 3 out of 4 C-suites believe if they don't scale AI in the next 5 years, they risk going out of business entirely. And OpenAI is saying that 80% of jobs can incorporate this stuff right now, today, in work. So now's the time to listen. Now's the time to lean in. Very quick video here from Mark Cuban. If you don't know AI, you are going to fail, period. Watch this quick clip.
Who are great at AI and everybody else. If you don't know AI, you are going to fail. Period, end of story. Whether you are an employee, you're going to have to understand it, how it impacts your job or how you can use it to be better at your job. If you're a student, the same thing. And if you're a CEO, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to get my tech guys to understand it and educate me on it. You have to understand it because it will have significant impact on every single thing that you do. There's no avoiding it.
Significant impact on single thing you do. So let's talk about the tangible, immediate benefits. It's your expert advisor for anything. It's your thought partner and problem solver. It's your creative partner. It's your faster path to step one. It's a cure for the blank page. It's a cure for writer's block or creative block. And it's also a research aggregator. We'll tap into a few of these now. But my advice also is to keep a balanced approach. There's been some good time, a year and a half now, almost a year and a half since these models first exploded. And so there's some interesting articles here that Gen AI can fuel creativity, but it's no magic wand. While it might shorten the design life cycle and help spark innovation, the knowledge and discretion of design experts, you guys, are absolutely necessary to manage potential pitfalls. Some wonderful articles about the unethical approaches to AI in the design world and how to avoid them. AI can certainly help us push the boundaries, making our lives easier and more innovative. It's crucial to navigate this new terrain with honesty and integrity. Copyright, attribution, all of these things are key aspects that we need to be considering. All right, what are my go-to sources for reading and some courses? One of my favorite courses is AI for Everyone. It's a free course by Andrew New. It's one of the go-to places. He's one of the godfathers of AI education. The links will all be provided at the end in the download. And Google has some fantastic introduction to AI and introduction to large language models. I've also done plenty of writing on the subject, how to prepare for AI's impact on jobs, how adopting AI for organizational resilience is key. These are things to make sure that you're reading up on, courses you can take. Also, I want to show you an example in the real world too. I mean, this is IKEA. IKEA's done some pretty fantastic stuff. They've explored with OpenAI. They created a GPT, which is a bot inside OpenAI that lets you get design inspiration. Okay? It's not just a bot. It's not just IKEA making an attempt. It's them offering 24/7 non-stop services by an extended team of robot designers and architects to give you ideas for the furnishings specifically inside your home or your guest room and give you tips. Okay, so companies are already definitely leaning into this. But how can you play and experiment if you haven't really already? How can you enjoy your new thought partner? I want to give you some examples and give you some insights here that I think are absolutely key. This was and still is my window to the world. This is Midjourney. Many of you have probably played with this or experimented with this, but this is where we were last year. In fact, I presented this live on this very stage at HD Expo 2023. It was give me a large suite in a bright modern hotel style room, okay, afternoon sunshine, taken on this camera, and this is what it was giving us. And I crowdsourced this prompt with many of your suggestions on stage exactly 1 year ago. It was creating some interesting ideas for us, but you know what? We need to push it further. We need to ask these prompts to take on known designers and styles. Zaha Hadid, what would that mean if these rooms were filled with her furniture and designed in her inspiration style? Okay, you're starting to see where this can evolve. Let's have some fun in the style of Wes Anderson, famous, works on movie sets, famous film designer, okay? Now we're seeing some interesting portrays of this inspiration. This is really, really interesting. But I want to take it a little bit further in terms of strategy and narrative, okay? Now this is ChatGPT. This is the window of ChatGPT. I'm going there and I'm asking it to act as a hospitality design expert. You are an expert architect and interior designer. You know what's involved in planning complex design projects for global companies. You have to set the context. You have to tell it how to act and what pockets of intel from the internet to pull from. You'll see some really interesting things. I've asked it for summarizing current trends in decor styles, minimalism with modern touches, natural and sustainable materials, bold and vibrant colors. It gives you the sources of where it's pulling its information from. Now, this is ChatGPT, just one example, okay? But you'll be surprised if you put it to work with some interesting direction and you tell it how to act and what you want, you can get some really interesting things. But what I like to do even further, beyond asking for trends in the styles and some aspects here, I want it to offer unique opportunities for hotel design. What, as an architect or a designer, should I be taking from these trends? And what kind of things should I be considering? Functional, aesthetic, layout, tech integration, personalization. Let's go even a little bit further. Provide some images to depict these opportunities. Photorealistic, please. Okay, so ChatGPT has some built-in image generation through DALL-E. This is really interesting. Not as great as Midjourney in my mind, but you can maintain a conversation and connect a lot of insights and ideas into the thread to start to visualize some of these examples. Okay, and it takes a little while sometimes. Let me here speed it up. And then you can see a photorealistic image that depicts a hotel room suite designed with Maximist and modern sculptural elements. Yeah, kind of interesting. Okay, give me another one. Here's another one here that's a photorealistic image depicting a luxurious suite, showcases retro and nostalgic decor inspired by the 1970s. Yeah, really interesting. Okay, let's get a little bit further. Let's ask it to look outside hospitality for trends and insights here and give me some inspirations on what other ways I can be inspired for designs. Now, it's going to also find out if within hospitality publications, if we've leaned into any outside hospitality for inspiration. And you'll see here, come up with some design options based on this. All right, so let's see what this can pull. I love this back and forward dialogue. Something I'm encouraging to all of my clients and students is to not stop with the single prompt. You've got to have that back and forth dialogue. Okay, so let's see this. Exploring design inspirations from outside hospitality or articles that hospitality have written outside of this. And look, it's bringing up one from hospitality design. This is fantastic. Integrated technology. Okay, now this is pulling from an article Hospitality Design wrote about the Milan Design Week. Really interesting. Okay, so integrated technology, fashion and furnishing crossovers, sustainability and local engagement, pulling an article from Fast Company. So again, the more you play and work with these systems, the more you can get some very interesting outputs. Okay, we're going to move along. I want to provide maximum value and inspiration in this session and spend most of the time in section 3, which is adapting AI to your workflows. Okay, matching to how you work, not the other way around. Something I'm very conscious of as we're looking to uptake AI. I'm going to show you a real world example that I worked with one of my hotel clients who was putting in a green wall in the restaurant of their New York City hotel. Okay, so we took on a structured approach to create some inspiration for this restaurant art project. We used ChatGPT and we used Midjourney. So typically, in order to get this kind of inspiration, we would search Google all over the place, maybe build a Pinterest board or a PowerPoint presentation of ideas. Instead, we arrived at some photo quality renders very, very quickly that we used for inspiration. Here's how we looked at it. We did some brainstorming. We pasted in all our unstructured notes and ideas and our approaches and ways that we wanted to start thinking about a prompt. And then with ChatGPT, we actually used it to help us create a prompt. Create a prompt in ChatGPT to go into Midjourney. So you're starting to see this strategic stringing together of separate products until they're all available in one. Many of these can do these things together in one application. Microsoft Copilot might be installed in your organization. You don't know. But this is an interesting way to kind of get the best out of it. So we created a prompt. Fast forward a few steps. This is one of the prompts that we came up with for the green wall. We were inspired by the distinctive style of Dutch East design. So we asked for a green wall with plants for an Italian restaurant in a New York City hotel. We wanted to channel the rustic allure of coastal Italy and fuse it with the style of Dutch East design. A lot of other interesting things there. Touching on one more, the juxtaposition of industrial touches such as raw metal frames with polished stone, a lot of really cool things. And this is what we got from Midjourney within literally minutes, okay? Some great inspirations that were then taken and handed to the architects and designers as inspiration that were a lot closer than what we would find on a Pinterest board or a Google search. Here's another way we leaned into with another style prompt to simplify. A unique and unconventional green wall on the side of an Italian-themed restaurant in a New York City hotel. Okay, well manicured, well lit, with natural light from above. So these are the types of things you can see as you get closer and you're working with it and you're integrating this into the workflow of the inspiration and research you'd already be doing. Okay, here's another interesting one. No doubt, I know in working with designers and global design services from large brands, there is a lot of blueprinting, a lot of rendering, a lot of photorealistic work, a lot of animations, but that can take time and there's a lot of different programs to go in and out of. This is a render I found online of a Hilton resort in the Maldives, which has since launched, and this is a static render of what I found. Now, oftentimes we need to give life, give movement, breathe a sense of earth into our design. So there's a way that you can do that very, very easily. This is Runway. This is their magic motion brush feature tool I want to show you. You go to runway.com and you upload your image, and then you simply highlight around the image where you want your motion, around the render, around the blueprint, or around the photograph. Where do you want motion? In this case, I want motion in the water and in the skyline of my static image. Okay, so I'm literally painting the screen with my mouse. This is a screen record of my website that I did recently. I set the direction, I want my movement, and then very, very quickly, I also ask it to start motion capturing. Okay, goes through the process. I'm going to fast track this because I'm on video. So I have the benefit of fast tracking that for you. And watch what happens when I'll make this full screen, then I'll just play it here. And you can see, voila, like magic, I've literally given the gift of movement to this otherwise static image. Okay, now this was a 3D render. You can do this with a photograph. You can do this with some research you might be doing or inspiration or any photograph you might find online. Now you can add the element of movement. Okay, so this is something that's been incorporated into existing workflows. Here's another example. I do a lot of research. I'm connected to a lot of folks on the cutting edge of marrying AI, architecture, design. There's a lot of parametric research I'm doing. This is something I found this was a combination of Rhino and Grasshopper with Midjourney and LookX, and effectively offers the ability to drag and drop the render, the blueprint rather, the map on the right-hand side, and get an instant reflection of the change in visual render on the left-hand side. So you're dragging this and you're seeing the result instantly from adjusting layouts and dimensions. Pretty fantastic. This is from my friend Tim Fu. This is another program. It's very basic and simple, but if you haven't experimented with this, it's called Interior Flow. It's currently in beta. You're able to very simply select your mode. Either you have an interior design image or an input image of your own, or you want some inspiration styles. I put in my own input image. You select the type of room, hotel suite, lobby, bedroom, whatever it is, and you upload it and you select the style. Now I want to take you through a couple of examples here. This is a photo I found online. This is North Carolina Airport Hilton property. I was looking, the style I set was an interior design, hotel suite, mid-modern century. Okay, so this is what it creates. Now notice it's maintained the specific measurement directions, placements, and layouts of the bed, the elements, the window, the curtains. It maintains it almost perfectly one-to-one. Because I understand there are brand guidelines, there are compliance, there are furnishings, there are furniture, there are all of these finished pieces you need to maintain. This is an interesting way to look at refurbishments on an accelerated preview scale. Okay, this is the interior design of a hotel suite. I asked it for in the style of Scandinavian. And this is the upgrade it gave me in the Scandinavian style. Now, don't forget, every one of these models is early stage, and it is the worst it will ever be. That's a saying in the AI landscape. What you see now in all of these models and their capabilities, text output, images, it's the worst it's ever going to be. So this is a pretty decent start, okay? It's maintaining the specifics of my layouts and dimensions, offering me new ways to consider some refurbishments. All right, I want this presidential suite in the style of coastal, okay? This is an interpretation of a coastal render based on that style. Okay, now these are the kind of tools that I want you to be experimenting in. And in terms of workflow, I want to take our little ChatGPT discussion earlier of trends and styles into something a little bit more specific, okay? Same type of theme. I want you to act as a hospitality design expert. You're an expert architect and experienced designer. Make sure you are providing this context. Make sure you're asking it what to do. You can even upload trend documents. See the upload clip? You can upload documents you've found from other design inspirations and ask it to analyze and give you ideas. I'm asking here for some more trends analysis and how to take those and transfer those to hotel design opportunities. It's going out, it's doing its research. Now, what I want to show you here is how you can do some interesting things with the formatting and output. Okay, that was quick. Let me back up a little bit. Modern rustic and elegant farmhouse styles. Okay, here's some potential hotel applications. Incorporate this into restaurants and cafes. Warm, inviting atmosphere. Interesting. Okay, natural materials and warm palettes. Hotel application here. You can see that. So it gives me some of these trends, and it's already starting to translate them. Okay, but what is particularly interesting is please outline in specific detail how these themes translate to hotel design opportunities while keeping in mind the following key areas of focus for a global design company in this example. I want standard. I want maintaining and evolving standards. I want compliance. I want strict compliance to standards and design styles. I want to build and nurture relationships with hotel owners and consultants. And I want to make sure that I'm pushing the boundaries of innovation. So you see that I'm getting narrow with my prompting. Okay, this is my thought partner, don't forget. This is my virtual assistant. It's working with me to get me closer. And this is ChatGPT. This is not particularly trained on hotel trends and design styles and themes, but yet I'm using my narrowing focus and avenues of interrogation to help it think specifically. We're going to get onto some custom models in a moment, but that's the type of thing it can do, okay? It can create some really narrowed focus. Now, I don't want to stop there because what I'm looking for is something really specific, okay? I'm going to get a little bit further, and now I'm going to type in how I want the output to look. I've got innovation here. I've got multi-generational adaptation from a hotel and consultant standpoint, and those relationships I need to nurture. But look at this. Ensure each focus area covers each design opportunity. Okay? So I'm going to fast track this a little bit and present this all in a simple table. Okay, so I've got my design trends and the design opportunities that it translated from its research. It's putting this into, I'll pause it there, it's putting this into a table that helps me maintain standards and evolve my standards, ensuring my adherence to compliance, very strict brand compliance is in place, telling me specifically how to leverage this theme for increasing my relationship with owners and consultants, and what future examples and innovations I could consider from this design trend. So again, I'm adding dimension to my outputs, okay? I'm getting some really specific opportunities simply served up, not one size fits all. I'm training it on my unique needs and the needs of, in this case, my global brand, my standards. I could even get a level deeper and upload a standards document in PDF or work with it more specifically on the standards, okay? And it gives me really what I need. So this is a really interesting way to look at this for more in-depth connection to your workflow. And I suggest you to play with things in this way because that way you're getting more specific outputs. Now, Imagine if we could take it one level closer and have models that were specifically trained, not on the open public web, but on your brand standard specifically, all right, to create brand safe outputs every time. What you'd want to look at is your brand guidelines, your customers' requirements, design trends and influences, maybe some of your award-winning projects, and feed that into a custom large language model, your own personal AI or business-specific, enterprise-specific AI. You might be able to put in prompts such as, based on the 2024 brand standards from company X, your client, create 3 options for hotel renders, use the influence from New York City boutique hotels, ensure the areas are of hotel exterior and evening settings, and you might get these types of outputs. So we're moving towards a custom world. Otherwise, it's a race to the bottom if we're all sharing the same open models, right? That's the specific thing. I also want to show you some new tools. These are global audiences. We live in a globally connected space. There are tools that translate your voice beautifully and lip sync your voice. Imagine if you needed to train on complex brand standards or work with customers internationally or convey specific strategic outputs from your project or your research in different languages. Check this out.
This is HeyGen. It's automatic video translation. So what's it doing? It's not only translating my voice into French, German, Spanish, multiple languages, it's also lip syncing me directly live to the new language. Pretty amazing.
Hola chicos, quiero mostrarte este nuevo servicio. Navego en la web. Esto es HeyGen, traducción.
Think about the applications in travel and hospitality, hotels, concierges, front desk staff, welcoming guests or thanking them for their stay in multiple languages. The applications are huge.
The applications are huge. This is AI generated as well. A lot of great stuff. I've got a roadmap here for your adoption of AI that you may want to start in the beginning, or you may be very much along the way here. But one of the great things to consider is the power of the prompt. Everything starts with the new form of search. This is the input. This is the prompt. It's a mindset shift from our Google searches. There's a lot you need to be thinking about. So prompt engineering classes, I highly recommend those for your teams or for your executives. And some hands-on assignments, predetermined scenarios that can really help you run workflow considerations like what I've shown you into your setting. And then ultimately advancing some of the projects and tools you're already using to really integrate and institutionalize some of this so it can help accelerate you in your way, and then eventually make your way to custom models. So the types of classes you want to look at is humanizing and romanticizing the input, the prompt. Classes where you're setting up accounts for your teams, small groups, taking them through key levels, and then ultimately leaning into these assignments where these structured scenarios can help you really brainstorm and understand how this informs the creative process. All of that's very, very important. And then if you're embedding AI at scale in a large global organization, you need to be driving inspiration throughout the organization with case studies and examples. You need to be going through workshops. You need to be breaking down processes, looking for problems and how this can help you grease the wheels for adoption, help you solve problems, and more importantly, help you understand what can you now do that you could not do before with AI. Make some strategic decisions, get plans in place for adoptions. I want to leave you with this. Skift found that the average revenue earned by a travel worker in the US is about $260,000, okay? Revenue earned by a travel worker. Look at Marriott. They employ about 411,000 employees globally. So keep that in mind. If AI makes every Marriott worker just 1% better at their jobs, the result could be over $1 billion in incremental revenue, productivity, employee satisfaction, training and learning curves. It's pretty special. But you know what? Our skills are irreplaceable. I found this image about 6 months ago. Hey, ChatGPT, finish this building. I loved it. We're irreplaceable, but the power of AI and humans together is something very, very special. Thank you for your time. I want to wish you a wonderful rest of the event. Snap this QR code now, and you'll be able to go to a link on my site where you can download these materials, my prompts, the roadmap, my recommended reading, my recommended courses for you to take. Everything you learned today that is advisable, you've got it here. I'm going to provide that to you at no cost. I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a great rest of the event. Bye for now.